Hello, it's Friday and you're probably wondering why I'm so excited. That's all because of the package we've lined up just for you. So thank you for coming along. I'm your host, Edwin Atkinson. Just a little peek at what's in store for you. Well, today we will look at the transformational pillars of education and youth sectors for the fiscal year 2023 to 2024, plus how as parents we can assist our children to learn math and more. So stay where you are. We'll be right back after the news.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Jamaica is changing right before our very eyes. Across the island, billions are being invested into our road networks, from farm and community roads to major roads and highways. Dozens of communities across the length and breadth of Jamaica are receiving access to reliable potable water for the very first time. And thousands of Jamaicans have become homeowners thanks to the historic shifts in policies of the National Housing Trust, making it easier for Jamaicans to receive funding. Not to mention the record number of houses being built. Never dreamed you would own a home? No matter your circumstance, home ownership is possible for you thanks to the government's new social housing program, specially designed to meet the needs of poor Jamaicans at no cost to them. We are building Jamaica.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, June 16, 2023. Jamaica is looking to strengthen relations with the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, and the World Bank to stem poverty in the country. Prime Minister Andrew Holness met with the presidents of both financial institutions on Wednesday. He says that with the country now experiencing economic stability, the government is looking to leverage investment opportunities in partnership with the private sector. The finance minister is already coordinating plans in this regard.
Government has to be very deliberate and instrumental in structuring programs that will lift people out of poverty. And the World Bank and the IDB, you have incredible experience, knowledge, know-how, and of course the resources financially to assist us in crafting programs that will deal with poverty, the informational dimension, the income dimension, and the access to services and amenities.
Mr. Holness says support will also be sought from the IDB and the World Bank to reform the Program of Advancement through Health and Education, PATH.
We will call upon the tremendous resources and skills that you have, knowledge of executing such programs and reforming them, and how to make them more meaningful.
Meanwhile, President of the World Bank, Ajay Banga, has given the bank's commitment to support Jamaica in three key areas. The first two are human capital development, targeting the education and health sectors, and the digitization of governance for efficient service delivery. The third area is economic resilience. Mr. Banga praised Jamaica for its ingenuity in implementing a catastrophe bond, which enables the country to get access to funding in the event of a major natural disaster. He signaled the bank's intention to partner with Jamaica in having such a buffer implemented in other countries. The World Bank also committed to infrastructural development in the areas of broadband and electricity connectivity.
In my opinion, if 5 years from today, we can come and look back and say we picked a few things that we know worked well and we replicated them at scale across your country to the benefit of your people, then we would have done a terrific job.
Ground was broken on Thursday for a $119 million project to rehabilitate the natural bridge to Troja Road in northeastern St. Catherine.
This $119 million road rehabilitation project symbolizes our commitment to sustainable development and unwavering dedication to improving the lives of our citizens. We understand the frustration caused by dilapidated roads, traffic congestion, and hindrance they pose to economic development. Therefore, we have formulated an inclusive and ambitious plan to address these challenges head-on.
The project is being executed under the National Works Agency's Maintenance of Secondary Roads program. The 8-month contract covers 7 of the 10 kilometers along the stretch of road, but Minister Warmington says attention will also be given to the remaining 3 kilometers, given the impact of heavy rains experienced in the last 2 weeks.
I spoke to the parish manager who I asked to embark or prepare a scope of work. So from this section at below Earwood to the Yellow Bridge, that section will be addressed along with this current contract. Also, from the Yellow Bridge going to Riversdale, there are some very bad conditions there, and those also will be addressed.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is expanding the island's voluntary blood donor program this year and looking to create more legacy donors through the National Blood Transfusion Service and partner organizations and individuals. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Bisesa-McKenzie says the program will focus on young people 17 years and older across 20 high schools and 5 universities and teachers' colleges.
This with the aim of collecting over 600 units of blood and increasing the database of voluntary donors by at least 20 donors. We will be rolling out this initiative in the upcoming school year, so look out for it. And school administrators, if you're hearing us, are welcome to contact the blood bank to join this school tour.
Dr. Bisesa-McKenzie was speaking at the commissioning of a new mobile blood collection unit on World Blood Donor Day, June 14. She says the ministry will be identifying an additional 5 strategic blood collection sites and adding another mobile unit this fiscal year to make blood donation and collection more accessible. The units will be outfitted with 4 blood collection stations and will be manned by 7 staff members.
We invite organizations, institutions, and individuals, both private and public, to contact the blood bank, Mr. Allen, to request this service for your workplace, your school outreach, your community. The team at the blood bank will be more than happy to help you to organize your blood collection drive.
$10 million has already been allocated to the Portland Municipal Corporation to undertake a cleanup exercise and provide temporary shelter for butchers severely affected by a recent fire at the Musgrave Market. Minister of Local Government Desmond McKenzie says the necessary systems are being put in place to facilitate restoration of the market. Minister McKenzie was addressing this week's post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House. He also took the opportunity to address information being circulated about the future of the Musgrave Market.
Let me state categorically that no decision has been taken to divest the interests of the Musgrave Market to anybody. It is the property of the municipal corporation, and whatever repairs are going to be done, the funding will be provided by the Ministry of Local Government.
The local government minister says the market is insured and the insurers are doing their assessment. And finally, the finalists for the 2023 Jamaica Festival Song Competition have been expanded from 10 to 12. They were chosen from a batch of more than 200 entries, which represents a mix of seasoned practitioners and others.
Among the finalists is the 7-time festival song winner, Eric Donaldson. The other finalists include Juno Award winner, Juno Award, which is in Canada, Esco Levi, an artist named Hot Rod, 2 mentor groups, right? A mentor band and some mentor singers. It also includes a visually impaired female singer called Princess Black. It includes Anthony B.
The Culture Minister gave the update during her sectoral presentation in Parliament this week. The festival song winner will be selected through the public's vote after televised presentation, with the results show in July. Meanwhile, the fireworks display and drone show are set to return for this year's Grand Gala celebrations, which will also feature a tribute to the late Harry Belafonte.
The theme for our celebrations this year is Jamaica, Proud and Strong. The Grand Gala will be grand, and we continue to challenge ourselves to raise the bar each year.
And that's it for JI's News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
The Ministry of Education and Youth has made initiatives to advance and improve Jamaica's learning environment. Let's have a peek at the future initiatives.
The Ministry of Education and Youth supports 1,010 public primary and secondary schools. It works through 7 educational regions, 14 agencies and 10 divisions. These support the development of 107,337 children from early childhood to tertiary education. Guided by 25,700 teachers, these future leaders are being trained and given the insight to follow a path of personal, social, and economic progress.
We are ensuring that our students, regardless of their socio-economic background, are fully equipped with devices, have access to e-resources, including e-textbooks, which are now included in our procurement, that they have computer labs in all of our secondary schools, right, as with new laptops and proper broadband connectivity. A total of 438 schools are currently connected, and 252 are projected to be connected this fiscal year, for a total of 690 primary and high schools, or 68% of the total, and the work continues. This summer, a 4-week internship opportunity with Sandals Group has been arranged for the students, and 2 weeks industry furlough for their teachers. These opportunities will no doubt increase the capacity of teachers to deliver the program to international standards while ensuring that students are sufficiently exposed to industry practice.
The ministry's Sixth Form Pathways program continues and has seen a 21% increase in enrollment, with 24,245 students enrolling this year, up from 19,122 last year.
We will continue to monitor and look for new ways to engage students, especially those in the tertiary space who have demonstrated the aptitude for managing a more flexible arrangement where they can continue their education while being part of the workforce on a part-time basis. We want our tertiary sector to forge stronger ties with businesses, to understand the needs of businesses, so there's better alignment with those they are graduating and the job market.
An agreement was struck in May 2022 with the Ministry of Justice to give restorative practice training to parents, instructors, and students at 207 public primary and secondary schools.
For this fiscal year, both ministries are committed to train an additional 30,000 students from 500 public schools. Some 25,000 students from 19 primary schools, 14 high schools are targeted to benefit from this intervention under the Government of Jamaica's Citizen Security Program. And these are primarily schools in our so-so area.
The Ministry of Education and Youth has taken steps to expand uniform groups in schools as part of its effort to create disciplined and well-rounded students.
I am pleased to report that enrollment in uniform groups has increased by 55%. Surpassing the pre-COVID-19 levels.
This year, the government has provided almost $9 billion towards the school feeding program. 180,171 students, including those attending early childhood commission institutions and brain builders centers, primary, junior high and secondary schools and wards of the state will be fed.
The funding is dispersed to schools to provide cooked lunches for students on the basis that once meals are prepared in large quantities, the schools will reap the benefits of economy of scale. As the process of transformation continues for the education sector, we look forward to working with the National Council on Technical and Vocational Education and Training and the Vocational Training Development Institute, VTDI, that is now a public educational institution with the awesome responsibility for growing the cadre of teachers of TVET in the education system.
Additionally, the government has approved a total of 5,045 post codes to offer security for teachers and improved regulation of the education sector.
I'm gratified that we have done the work to sort out the 5,045 postcodes for our classroom teachers, senior teachers, master teachers, health and family life teachers, numeracy teachers, non-academic staff who've been working in the education system, some for many years without security of tenure.
The ministry is also dedicated to safeguarding our children and youth's well-being, holistic development and safety.
I'm pleased to announce that Cabinet has approved the development of a national children's policy. It will provide a comprehensive framework in relation to children's issues in Jamaica by bringing together the relevant existing policies, national plan of action and programs, and to provide a framework for the development and coordination of new policies, programs, and legislation.
Even more interventions are being undertaken to advance the pillars of education transformation and better prepare our youth for whatever the future may hold.
You know the right and still not do wrong. Look at the failures that you've had. Embrace success. True God does go through it at the best real. Giving you this testimony.
Parenting with nuts and bolts probably hasn't been effective in getting your child to learn quickly enough. But have you tried parenting with math?
What is it, my daughter? All right. Let me take a look at it now.
Math can seem daunting, but there are a few things you can do to support your child at home. One area to look at is games. We all play games on a regular basis, especially children. And how much fun would it be to tie mathematics into the games they play?
There's a very interesting notion that is put forward, and that notion is the fact that the things that we are interested in are the same things that we seem to do well in. Now, if it is that around our interest there's also a heightened level of performance, or we seem to learn things much faster when we are in tune, it therefore becomes important for us to actually put emphasis on making mathematics an interest. Because once we begin to allow our students or our children to see the fun in math and begin to develop a level of interest, it is at that point in time you will find that they may learn the concepts much faster.
Arithmetic helps us in keeping track of time, conducting business, and making plans.
In reinforcing the math from home, we have to do a few things. One, you could, while cooking or baking, allow your child to come forward and to share the math concepts that they were exposed to in school. I'm sure while you're cooking something, your child can apply some measurement skills, some conversions, some looking at the beakers and so on. Additionally, we know that at times we do some amount of sorting and organizing. There's always a shelf somewhere to be packed, a cabinet to be reorganized, some things to be moved around. This is an opportunity to allow your child to use their spatial awareness, to be able to look at shapes.
Do you want to know what I do?
I find creative ways to incorporate the knowledge to them, because maths is not an easy subject. And most children will tell you, math's hard, but it's something that they need in their everyday life. So I find creative ways to put it to them in fun ways that we both can enjoy doing it together.
Some of the concepts that I believe that parents could pay a keen attention to is the number concept, like the simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division.
You have to know at least the basics. I mean, we're not going to tell them about the algebras and the other areas which is a little bit challenging to them, but at least know to make change, know how to know the difference between distance and time and things like those. I'll try to encourage all fathers at least to know the basic about the concept of maths. For the primary student, you use whatever they like. Okay. If they like food, they use food. Divide up the pizza, show them how to divide it. If they like money, they're the children who love playing with money and love counting money, use the money.
Look at your child textbook. You'd see the topics based on the child age group, all the topics that they'll go throughout the entire year. And you can also consult with the teacher and find out what topic am I looking at now, so that you can use all the online resources.
We have to find out what is the root of the problem first. Is it that you're not understanding, or you're not grasping as much as you're being taught? Then that much we need to identify what are the weak areas, what are the problems. Once we can identify what is the problem, then we can actually try and fix it from there.
So we're not supposed to be thinking with our fixed mindset that there's only one way, so the teacher is doing it wrong. We could be doing it wrong, we might never know. So we'll have to be open to the fact that we're not the only person with an opinion, or this is not the only way of solving that one problem.
Parents, I want to encourage you today. When it is that your child comes home with the math book and you realize that the approach that is being taken to deliver the content is not the same way you are used to it, don't throw it aside and say, no, that's wrong, or that is harder, that's different. You need to embrace the approach.
There is many ways to help. You don't have to help physically, but being there to sit down and to encourage the child, talk with them, or even while they're doing it, you look over and say, yes man, okay, try it this way. I mean, that is support.
Support your child and give them the push they need. In math, practice makes perfect.
The Land Titles Division maintains the legality and formality of all transactions, including the registration of new certificates of title for land and the registration of dealings on existing certificates of title. But obtaining your land title is your responsibility, and we want to assist you with that. Please check out our upcoming feature.
If you are a landowner who does not have a registered title, you can apply for one now. A registered title is a document that indicates you own the land, and if you don't have one, another person can lay claim to your land. The process of registering for land titles begins here. Here are the initial steps you need to take. Step 1. Obtain and sign an application form as stipulated by the Registration of Titles Act. Step 2 is to obtain a statutory declaration, which is merely a letter from a local resident attesting to the applicant's ownership of the land. Step 3 is similar to Step 2 in that you must obtain a supporting statutory statement from two people who have known the property for at least 30 years in order to demonstrate ownership rights through possession. This is necessary if the petitioner lacks 40 years' worth of documentary evidence of ownership. The fourth step requires you to obtain a current certificate of payment for property taxes. You will also need a survey-checked diagram if the land is being registered by plan. After that, present any other document you may have proving ownership, such as a receipt, transfer, or probate form. Finally, you must pay an entry fee, which is equal to 1% of the property's value. You must pay this cost when you provide your paperwork to the assessor at the title office. You will receive an official receipt with the name of the applicant, the document number, and the receipt number printed on it. Your application number is printed on the receipt and must be used when you are contacted about the application. Once your application has been submitted successfully, you must save your receipt. Processing takes anywhere from 6 months to a year. If a rejection notification is sent out during that time, the processing period will restart if you want to reapply. Pay your property taxes, have your land surveyed, and remember, land titles can be used as a resource to safeguard your future and the future of your children. To learn more about how to obtain a land title today, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm.
The Ministry of Education and Youth, along with the Ministry of Justice, have just started a pilot project, the Manchester Beliefs, Values and Attitudes Program. The initiative will target students at the primary and secondary levels to act as sentinels in keeping the peace amongst their peers. It is also designed to help instill civic pride and create a peace culture in schools and the wider society. Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams sees the program as a step toward more harmony in schools, and you should too.
For us, this program is a significant step in promoting peace among students in our schools and the identification of school peace ambassadors serve as sentinels in keeping the peace among their peers and to be trained in restorative practices. All of this should go a far way to reducing much of the misunderstandings and disputes in our schools.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. Remember, everything comes to you at the right time. So be prepared for when the time comes. On behalf of all of us here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.